The following podcast contains adult language and themes, so don't say we didn't fucking warn you.
You're listening to SarahTalk. It's political.
Whatever the condition is in their home country is so bad that they're willing to go through that long, arduous trek to get here, where we've promised this American dream idea. The least we could fucking do is when they knock on our door or help them.
Critical.
Look, whenever there's someone coming after my community, they are either wearing a MAGA hat, carrying a Bible, or more often both.
And positively LGBT positive.
In many states, you can still be evicted from housing simply for being gay or transgender. Stand and fight with us.
Oh, and occasionally completely absurd.
Oh, they're shutting us down. They're deplatforming us. I knew a pretty good Alex Jones once. They're turning the frogs gay.
Okay, you're sleeping in a child's room tonight because there's no way you're sleeping next to me. That is disgusting. I'm going to have nightmares.
And now, from Haines City, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Hey everybody, welcome to SarahTalk. I am Sarah Austin with the lovely Becca.
Hello.
This is episode 156.
Really?
On the 9th of March, 2019. Wow. Yeah. Hey, listen, y'all. I need to start off the show this week with a bit of a confession. I witnessed a heavenly miracle.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
It just, look, there's no other way to explain it. And now I see God's power. The Coal City Fire Department in West Virginia were dispatched early Sunday morning to assist with a fire at Freedom Ministries Church in Daniels, West Virginia. Firefighters were stunned upon finding a pile of Bibles untouched by the flames. In a Facebook post, the department said, "Picture this. A building so hot that at one point in time, firefighters had to back out. Despite this, they said, not a single Bible or cross was harmed by the fire." The church also posted on Facebook following the fire saying, quote, "In the midst of smoke, you can see Jesus. He was there with us. It's a miracle! Praise God! I'm a Christian now!" Just kidding. Couldn't possibly be true.
I thought I was going to have to get the frying pan out, folks, and smash her over the head with it.
Now, I don't think it's necessary for us to spend the time explaining the science behind why Bibles tend not to burn the way wood does. But,
right.
Boy, if you look at any of the Facebook stuff, people were sure arguing back and forth about whether or not this was, the power of God, or and the atheists, of course, came out in force to say, so God let the church burn down,
right,
but saved the Bibles. Or where the hell was it? There were some real nasty tornadoes.
I'll be right back, kids.
There were some real nasty tornadoes around the same time. God didn't stop that. People died. Why would God allow all of those people to die? But priority number one, we got to save those Bibles. Anyway, 224-40-SARAH, 224-407-2724. Have the phone lines open, as always, tonight. I'll just remember to tell you, maybe a little more frequently. If you want to call in and chat with us about our topics tonight or anything else in the news that you'd like to discuss, you can give us a call.
Sorry.
So, just kidding. I'm not actually converted. That I don't buy that. I mean, couldn't stop all of the priests from raping children.
No.
But save the Bibles. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Super important. Sarah, you say, why can't you just let believers have their beliefs and leave them alone? Because their beliefs harm people, especially when it's exported to places like Africa. From the BBC, a South African prophet, widely known as the Doom Pastor, we've talked about this guy before, has been found guilty of assault and contravening the Agricultural Stock Remedies Act. Lethebo Rabalgo, who runs the Mount Zion General Assembly, was arrested after it emerged that in 2016 he had been spraying his followers with an insecticide,
Holy crap.
claiming it would heal cancer and HIV.
Okay, wait a minute. What could possibly be in the insecticide
Did it
that
cure
could heal
anything?
it, or that could cure that, especially when they've been claiming for years that Monsanto causes cancer? They have the antidote in there, too?
Apparently not in South Africa.
Oh, my gosh.
The magistrate said the fact that the complainants, quote, were sprayed on their faces with doom makes this offense the worst of its kind, end quote, and also revealed that some of them had suffered detrimental side effects, like coughing, for more than 7 months after the incident. Photos circulating on social media show him spraying the insecticide directly into the eyes and various body parts of his congregants.
This sounds really familiar.
Yeah, this was rat poison. No, I don't think this was rat poison guy. I think that was a different guy.
But yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay.
At the time, he told BBC's Nomsa Maseko in Johannesburg he had sprayed the face of one woman because she had an eye infection and claimed the woman was, quote, just fine because she believed in the power of God, end quote.
Wow. I didn't know it was that easy to cure an infection.
And just spray some bug spray in your eye.
And believe in God. That's the important part.
Yeah, right.
You got to believe in God.
Right. And that's not all. The BBC summarizes Rabalgo's oddities, as well as other South African pastors, listing the dangers of worshiping some South African preachers. Of the Doom pastor, they say, he posted a photo on Facebook which showed what looked like a large speaker on top of a person lying face up on the ground. In another photo, he is seen sitting on said speaker while a person remains underneath.
Okay.
Right, so imagine you're laying on your back and you've got a big fucking PV speaker sitting on your chest. And then Pastor Dumbo climbs up on top.
At least 200 pounds.
What's that gonna heal or do? What is that for? What's the purpose?
Oh my gosh.
And in 2016, photographs of this insecticide cure. Then there's Lesego Daniel of Rabbani Ministries, who, they note, instructed members of his congregation to drink gasoline.
Oh my god.
And Penuel Nungi, there's too many consonants, of End Times Disciples Ministries, a.k.a. the Snake Pastor, whose 2015 Facebook photos show him feeding stones to his members, which he claimed had been turned into bread.
What?
And later that year, images of him feeding his followers snakes and rats, which they claimed had been turned into chocolate. He was run out of town. This is why religion is dangerous. It's bad enough that people in America who believe do shitty things because of their beliefs, right? That's bad enough. But when you then pack this stuff up and ship it over to a place that's maybe a little less evolved.
Right. I mean, if they're believing that rats and snakes
turned into chocolate. Yeah.
Wow. Yikes.
Yeah.
Makes me just sad for the deplorable state of intelligence on the planet.
Right.
I mean, that's...
Right. Some Florida religious news. A Tampa Bay area pastor and his daughter pleaded guilty to charges of conspiracy to fraud the United States government. 55-year-old Luckner Stempel and 31-year-old Elwoofine DeFort. Don't name your children Elwoofine.
I mean, Elphaba would be cool, but Elwoofine.
Anyway, they started running a tax prep business back in June 2011 when he also served as pastor at First Calvary Family Life Ministry in Tampa. What do these things have in common? An address. Operating a tax prep business at the same address as the church, he and his daughter assisted people in filing their taxes.
You don't say.
In exchange, they charged a 10% fee from their clients' tax returns, and worse, In order to boost those tax returns, according to the indictment, they were fraudulently claiming their clients qualified for tax credits and breaks they didn't actually qualify for.
Oh, shit.
They could face up to 5 years in prison.
I mean, how stupid. Yeah, well.
No, but that's the thing, right? So you've built up this rapport with your congregation.
Right.
The authoritarianism of the doctrine of the religion itself says to trust your leaders
Sure.
implicitly.
Oh, yeah.
And so when they come to you and say, "Hey, look, we run this tax business on the side. You should have us do your taxes." Well, of course you're going to do that.
Yeah.
And think nothing of it.
Mm-hmm.
Elsewhere in Florida, Palm Beach County Pastor James Jackson, 50, was sentenced to 100 years in prison.
Whoa, what'd he do?
After a 6-person jury found him guilty of 11 counts, including sexual activity with a child and lewd or lascivious molestation for acts with 3 girls in December. West Palm Beach police detectives said Jackson groomed several teenage girls for several years. One of the girls told police the interactions with Jackson began when she was a preteen. She said the sessions began with watching pornography on his laptop and led to sexual interactions. Assistant State Attorney Joe Walensky said these counseling sessions were calculated and premeditated.
Yeah.
2 other women, who were minors at the time of the sexual interactions, described similar situations. In addition to his church, the Light in the Garden Ministries near Lake Worth, Jackson and his wife ran Positive Habitat for Aspiring Teens, a nonprofit known as PHAT, P-H-A-T, Positive Habitat for Aspiring Teens, that, according to state records, provided, quote, a diverse body of teenagers with an opportunity to interact in a positive habitat amongst their peers, teaching them the skills to make positive decisions in everyday life and aspiring ethnic harmony. His wife, Valerie, was also arrested and charged with child abuse. Police said she knew of the sexual abuse and did nothing to stop it.
Whoa. Well, she was probably
in on it.
I don't know. I mean, she probably had been abused herself. If she was letting it go on and not doing anything about it, that's like very common that I don't know, maybe not, but somewhere along the line she felt a way to justify. Sorry.
Becca's drinking tonight, y'all. Like drinking, alcohol drinking. She did a shot before we went on the air.
I did. It was nice. I've had a rough week, y'all. It's my birthday and I feel like crap.
Happy birthday.
Bottoms up.
Okay. I'll drink to that. Hey, we got the rest of the yard taken care of.
We did. We did. Well, you did. Thank you.
Yeah.
I went and got the stuff.
Thank
Sarah
you.
did the work. I pulled my shoulder out, so I couldn't do much.
The last story in religion tonight. This week, the Supreme Court decided not to hear a case about taxpayer funding going to a church.
Really?
Morris County, New Jersey, has a program for giving preservation funds for all local buildings and had granted such money to a historic church. But the New Jersey Supreme Court had ruled that the county may not give taxpayer funds to help preserve religious buildings.
Okay.
That's because of the state constitution.
What?
Which has a religious aid clause that says, that basically bars the use of tax dollars, quote, for building or repairing any church. It's in the state constitution. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, that kind of makes a lot of sense.
I was almost expecting them to take the case up and apply Trinity Lutheran. That was the playground resurfacing thing. I really would not have been surprised had
they gone back and said, oh, here's the... That's funny, though.
Well, the New Jersey court explains why Trinity doesn't fit. The New Jersey court's ruling said, quote, this case does not involve the expenditure of taxpayer money for non-religious uses, such as the playground resurfacing in Trinity Lutheran. Now, that was part of their argument, that it was that it had a secular purpose.
Sure.
Yeah. The appeal instead relates to grants that sustain the continued use of active houses of worship for religious services and finance repairs to religious imagery. So apparently they had a cross that needed fixed or something.
Well,
Just ask God if you
the stained glass window with Jesus.
keep it from burning.
Got
so.
cracked because somebody was throwing stones. Where they were told it was bread.
In our judgment, those grants constitute an impermissible religious use of public funds, end quote. Yeah.
Yeah. I see that.
And you shouldn't need a state constitution to tell you that.
No, but here we are. There's a lot of things that shouldn't be that are in this.
No, you're right. You're right. And I've gotten in over my head arguing with people online about that
Yeah,
shit,
you
too.
have. Oh, my God, have you?
I quit. I'm done. Not arguing.
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah,
'Cause
no, I'm sure.
You said that before, and obviously.
Yeah. What was the last thing? That was the Bible class again.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, the ones I'm seeing are the ones about the Bible class and the kid with the pledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are the two I weighed heavily on.
And I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, the thing that annoys me the most about this, so to catch you up for those of you listening for the first time, Florida is considering a bill, House Bill 195, filed by Demon Buster Democratic Representative Kimberly Daniels, who should have been voted out of office in 2016 but wasn't.
Yeah.
That would require public schools to have a elective course on the study of the Old Testament, the study of the New Testament, and or the study of the Old and New Testaments. Okay? And if you go on any comment section of a news story that's been posted about this,
you'll see Sarah chiming in.
You'll see that for sure. But the thing that drives me the most nuts, to the point where I had to write a fucking article about it, because I needed something that I could just drop in and go, look, this is why that's a problem.
Right.
Well, it's just an elective. Your kids don't have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but we talked a few months ago about the student in West Virginia who, and the story is slightly different because this was an elementary school that had a Bible class, public school, and it was being taught by a teacher and a preacher. And this one student and another student didn't have, their parents didn't sign their permission slips for them to take the class. And so the teacher and preacher basically put them in a closet, gave them an iPad to entertain themselves with while they had Bible class. Right. That was in first grade. And then in third grade, the students started getting bullied by all the other kids. And I know, you're shocked, you're stunned. It's hard to believe that any good Christian would be a bully. I know that's hard to believe. But here we are. And so there's a concern that I have that if you have I wasn't going to talk about this tonight. If you have...
It's off script, watch out.
If you have an elective class on the study of the Bible in a heavily Christian area, where there's one or two kids who may not want to take it where everyone else does, how long before the bullying starts? Like, everybody's so damn worried about their persecution complex. That's where it's going to happen. It's going to happen to the kids who choose not to take the class in a sea of kids who do take the class.
Right. Because they become the outcasts.
Right. It's divisive.
And the test to see, how bullshit it is, really is, okay, so is it the elective class is the Bible in this scenario?
Right.
But if you turn around and say, okay, I want to have an elective class for the Book of Wicca, or Victoria said in her comments, the Quran, Hindu teaching, Native American beliefs, any of those, anything that goes against Christian
doctrine,
stamp of approval.
Yep.
And you know that these same people that are saying, oh, but it's elective, would be shitting bricks.
You bet they would.
Because, no, you can't do that.
Yep.
So...
Right. And so that's where I think it fails the First Amendment test.
Sure.
Right? If you're going to offer the study to one religion, then you should also have to offer it for all of the other ones. And I think the easiest workaround to that is a world religions class, right? That's non-specific to one religion or another. It's let's look at the Greeks and the Romans and the
right. Whoever,
Egyptians,
wherever,
all of them.
History of religion.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And then that's an umbrella.
Right. Right. Study those ancient religions alongside the religions of today. And
a great starting point for that would be go listen to Sarah's Christmas episode.
That's a good one. So anyway, and so that's what happens in the comments. Everybody's like lighting up.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it's just an elective. What are you so worried about? It's just an elective. And you're right. If you flip the script and say, okay, fine, pretend in an alternate universe where all things are still the same as they are here today, with the exception that someone filed a bill in the Florida legislature for an objective, secular,
right,
all the words they used, study of the Quran.
Right.
How would you feel? The Christians would lose their fucking minds.
Well, and I would take it a step further even, because, okay, let's teach an elective class that teaches about evolution, or let's teach an elective class that teaches actual sexual education.
Right.
Like
no, that should be required.
Well, it should be, but like if you anything, it could be just something that they might have this closed mind idea on. Let's have an elective class about LGBT culture.
Right. Right. Yes.
But it's
they
an
would
elective,
lose their damn
but they
minds.
would lose their minds.
Yep.
So.
Dan's quoting the founders in the comments stream. Yes, and let me share with you too. I got in a couple of those rabbit holes with people online.
I wouldn't even call those rabbit holes. I would call those black holes.
And I've taken a new approach. This is my new position, right? So I would argue that the founders were. This is not a Christian nation. That's demonstrable. The government wasn't built on the tenets of Christianity. That too is demonstrable. There are, as Dan is copying into the chat, there are writings between the founders and to various organizations from the founders that demonstrate their deistic belief in a God, where they may believe in a God. This is the higher power, but it's not God and Jesus.
Right.
Right? It's something created everything, and there's no interaction with reality after creation.
It's like the mother who had a baby and gave it up for adoption, and
so
there's no connection.
So
I don't know.
I tried to argue that, and that is a futile effort. That's a total waste of time. Don't do that.
Okay. I believe you. I mean, I've seen these comments. I believe you. I totally do.
So then these people, my adversaries.
Wait, what does our son say? My nemesis.
Yeah, yeah.
My nemesis.
Oh my God.
Oh, my nemesis.
Doobie dooba doo. Oh, we're such parents.
That. Like old school parent.
Yeah, yeah.
From back when cartoons were still good.
And so then you try to make the documentation argument, right? Which is that, fine, even if you think the founders believed in God and Jesus and all of that, still they wrote our founding documents specifically to say, but we're not going to let the government preference or enshrine one religion over another.
They can't,
And even that argument falls on deaf ears and is a waste of your time. Here's my new position. Because these people are arguing from a position of originalism. That every word in the Constitution And the fucking one guy brought up the Mayflower Compact as if I give a fuck about that. It's not governing me right now. That every word should be interpreted as it was meant to those people at that time. Okay?
All right, well, then your Second Amendment is gone.
Amen. Yes.
First of all.
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
Then it doesn't apply anymore. Give me your guns.
Right. So I was having this conversation with a guy who was, trying to tell me that, like, the liberals took over the courts and legislated from the bench and changed the meaning of the Constitution and all of this stuff. But you're absolutely right. That's exactly what happened to the Second Amendment. The Supreme Court basically took a Sharpie and scratched out that bit about the needing to form a militia part. That completely struck that in a Supreme Court case that basically affirmed that, no, the Second Amendment is about an individual's right to bear arms. Period. Full stop. You can't have it both ways.
No.
Here's the thing. We don't live in the 1700s anymore. We don't. And our government should evolve and grow with society. It should.
Yeah.
We should update things and change them. Otherwise, we'd still be owning people.
And then part of me thinks, okay, this is par for the course, because these are probably the same people that are having trouble with even working Facebook because they have to use a phone to do it. I mean, of course they don't want any evolution to take place because they're already so far behind. I got to hold on to these things that aren't going to change because everything else around you is changing.
Right. But I mean, that's the definition of conservative, right? They're trying to maintain the past.
Sure.
And hang on to the old ways.
But I just think, like, at what point do you have to get to before you realize it? There's only so much you can hold on to, because if everything else around you is changing. I mean, it's like the cassette tape. Well, no. It's like the 8-track.
Now you're going back. Okay.
Like, seriously, though.
Right.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that still have 8-tracks and 8-track players.
Mm-hmm.
But we're at the point now where you can just touch of a button, download a digital file, and you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of song options. And eventually those old machines are not going to be repairable, and you're going to have to upgrade to the next thing, which if you're still on an 8-track, will be the cassette player. And let me tell you,
good
those
luck.
Things, forget it. But, I mean...
But then you have your purists who are like, vinyl is still the best.
Right. I mean, well, and vinyl's coming back.
Yeah, I know.
But, I mean...
So is church involved in state, apparently.
Apparently. But, like, seriously, there's, like, things like that, people just hold on to for the sake of holding on to something because you don't do well with change.
Yeah.
And it's fine if it's something like a vinyl record or an 8-track. But when it's affecting the way our country is running.
Right.
And it's affecting the well-being of people because you got to nitpick every little thing. Mm-hmm. Then we have a problem.
There was one lady that was wise enough to delete her comment between the time she posted it and the time I had finished typing out my reply. Oh. Which takes me a while, by the way. I mean,
you should see her. I should video live. I should live Facebook one time when she's sitting there.
Back. I overanalyze.
Delete.
And because I'm a bitch about grammar all these people, they don't know what punctuation is. It's just like 17 run-on sentences all strung together without any punctuation. And I'll call them out on it. But anyway, so I don't want to, I don't want to put myself in the position to possibly be called out for fucking up my spelling or grammar.
No, and that's good.
So I take some extra time to read.
Right.
But I will read back through it 10 times.
Yeah, surely
let me change a little bit of here. And
yeah.
Okay, that sounds better. Now this part needs to go here. I definitely do that. Anyway, in the meantime, all of that happened. And this woman had basically made the argument from majority, which was when America was founded, 97% of Americans were Christians. And And my response was going to say, like, look, even if I allowed that to be presented as fact, which I wouldn't, we don't rule by majority rule is not a thing. We've learned that that's not the best way to do things, because if everything were just a straight, simple majority vote, we've learned that doing it that way allows discrimination to build and grow and exist.
Mm-hmm. And that creates pockets of militias. No, not malicious. Pockets of people who want to rise up and...
Yeah. Right. We've learned that if you just let the majority have the keys and run everything without any kind of check or balance, they are going to be assholes. We've learned that.
You have to have a give and take. It's simple, basic human interaction 101, honestly.
I just couldn't imagine the woman tried to argue that point with me.
No.
So the end of this story, what were we talking about? Oh, the Supreme Court refused to hear the case.
Did we go all the way to China in that rabbit hole? Are we on the other side of the world now?
I think so. Okay, so we were talking about the Supreme Court won't hear a case about taxpayer funding going to a church.
Yeah.
Such a case should not be difficult, Justice Brett I Like Beer Kavanaugh wrote in a statement joined by Justices Neil Gorsuch and Samuel Alito. Kavanaugh wrote, quote, "Barring religious organizations because they are religious from a general historic preservation grants program is pure discrimination against religion." Thoughts?
Well, I like rum.
Okay. But do you like beer?
No.
Yeah.
Beer triggers me. But I like rum.
So let me, the tangent episode. Let me, one more short side street. Okay.
It's not a side street.
Listen. Here's the thing about whether or not this is discrimination against religion. Okay? If the grant program were allowing their money to go to, I don't know, rebuild a mosque or a temple, but not a church.
Right.
That would be discrimination, for sure. There are no secular religious buildings.
It's because that's an oxymoron.
Right. Exactly. So,
well,
for them to use, look, they're using this money to fix up like historic downtown theaters and shit.
Right.
Right? That's different.
And yeah, and like one of my favorite things about going through downtown anywhere, like historic towns, you drive through Savannah or you drive through Tallahassee or you the old churches are really beautiful buildings. And so it kind of makes me sad when I see old churches that were once beautiful buildings in disrepair because nobody has the money to fix it up. But still, at the same time, like there is, you can. I have seen where churches have been purchased to be used as museums or something, kept in their original whatever.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a secular building.
Right.
So there are ways around it. But if you're still using it as a church, then you're still purging money out of the pockets of your parishioners. And so why not use that money to take care of your building? Because that's kind of what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So I think that would be the only loophole, is if the church was in a historic area and it was no longer being used as a church, so there's no congregation giving funds. If it's being used as a secular, like, historical landmark or whatever, then maybe.
Right.
And there's all kinds of different applications that you have to apply for and be accepted and authorized as a historic landmark. And then as a historic landmark, you get government money.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Well, and I get his point that it feels like discrimination against religion. Now, he didn't say a specific denomination or, Christianity. He just said against religion by not allowing any religious buildings to
Right.
come under this program.
Right.
And I kind of understand where that's coming from. But did we mention the state constitution's religious aid clause bars tax dollars for building or repairing any church? So if you want to change that, you have to change the state constitution first.
Right. Yeah.
And then whatever you implement from there, then somebody is going to file a fucking lawsuit. The
Of
FFRS is going to be
Somebody's
there.
yeah.
And then it's going to bubble back up to the Supreme Court. And Brett's just going to pour a beer and say, give all the money to the churches.
Put it on my calendar. All right. What else you got?
I think we're going to take a break.
All right.
Already.
Good. I need more ice for my rum.
You need more rum.
Yeah, that too.
I'm not prepared at all tonight. This was a quick first segment. Quicker than normal. Anyway. I'm going to get Becca drunk, y'all. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about a failed effort to stop child marriage. And some Florida stories that aren't Florida man stories, but we also do have Florida man stories. So we'll do that.
Wow, it's a Florida.
When we get back.
Nice.
You're listening to Sarah Talk.
In today's health-conscious society, you have many beverage choices. But do you know what's in all of them? So much sugar, sodium, and things you can't even pronounce. Dihydrogen monoxide. What's that? Sometimes you wish you just had a simple, more elegant solution for your beverage needs. Introducing H2O, the first ever chemical-free thirst quencher. H2O is simple, simply composed of 3 portions of 2 elements, hydrogen and oxygen. H2O means chemical-free, unlike water, which is filled with all sorts of shit. When we tested H2O, we found traces of no other elements. So pure, the bottle may as well be fucking empty, with all the same nutritional content as a breath of cool mountain air. First widely featured on Goop.com, actress Gwyneth Paltrow revealed that she exclusively uses H2O for her vaginal steaming process. After all, why use water when you can steam it with H2O? So now we invite you to run out to your local garden hose and drink that shit. Remember, it's not water, it's H2O.
H2O bottled by Flint Bottling Company in Flint, Michigan. Product not actually endorsed by Goop or Gwyneth Paltrow. Please do not use H2O for vaginal steaming, or better yet, please do not steam your vagina. H2O is actually just water. Water is a set of molecular compounds. It's a chemical. Everything is a chemical.
Hello, my friends. This is Sister Mary Atheist of the Church of Religious Avoidance down here in Bumblefuck, Alabama. Now, my friends, my people, my brothers and sisters, do you feel lost? Do you feel that swelling urge to be a part of something better? Well, let the word of SarahTalk help you. If you've never known the word SarahTalk, learn it, live it, love it. Can I get an amen? No? Good, 'cause we don't do that shit around here. My friends, we must all remember that the good word of SarahTalk doesn't happen for free. So get yourself over to patreon.com/SarahTalk and help us spread the word. Plant that seed and help it grow into secular, peer-reviewed empirical evidence for the good of all. In the name of the Sarah, the Becca, and the science-based podcast, amen. Hallelujah and holy shit.
Hey, this is Morgan Stevenson tuning in from Kalamazoo, Michigan on the Sarah Talk podcast.
Welcome back to Sarah Talk. I'm Sarah Austin, in the studio with the lovely and increasingly drunk Becca.
Listen, every once in a while.
But you wouldn't let me pour. You don't trust me.
Well, Obviously, I shouldn't trust you. You can't turn the freaking audio clips off before they start playing the next one.
Yeah.
I don't trust you because I don't know why.
Moving on.
I'm the one that has a heavy hand.
That's what I was going to say. Before we get back into the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful patrons. Your financial support keeps this thing going, and we appreciate it. Soon, you'll be purchasing us some lights so that we don't look
really
however
weird.
We look. For as little as $1 an episode, you can join our great patron family at patreon.com/SarahTalk. You can support the show for free by leaving a 5-star review on Apple or Google Podcasts or wherever you listen to the show. And please share the episodes with anyone you think would enjoy it. All of that stuff helps people find the show and increases the audience for us. So appreciate all of that. Thank you so much.
And this week it's going to buy Sarah more rum because I'm going to drink it all.
Yeah.
No, not really.
The rum is over on my side. Stay away. In the world of politics this week, get out of there. And I'm sorry, David mentioned in the chat,
okay,
give some hope, represent us, anti-corruption movement. I don't know what I want to say about that just yet. Right? So go check out Represent Us. It's something that you're going to want to support.
Yeah.
It's billed as a very bipartisan solution to a lot of our problems by fixing our election process. And I think that I tend to agree with the problem and the approach and the solutions. So Represent Us. Go check it out. And if there's a local chapter that you can get involved in and you want to get involved, do that. And maybe we'll talk about that in more depth in the future. I would love to shoot them a invite and have somebody come on the show and talk about it in more detail. So maybe we'll do that.
Look into that.
In the world of politics this week, Idaho...
Oh, wait, you mean we weren't talking about politics before the break?
Well, sort of.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
Idaho legislators voted down a bill that would have blocked marriage for children under the age of 16.
Wait, what? Wait. Would have?
Would have.
Which means they blocked it, which means it didn't go through.
Under current state law,
Idaho.
Children younger than 16 can get married with parental and judicial consent. And teens 16 and older can get married with only parental consent. The bipartisan effort that was ultimately blocked by conservatives,
of course,
proposed setting the minimum age to marry at 16, period.
How is this even up for what?
Right. Would have set the minimum age to marry at 16 and require 16 and 17-year-olds to have the consent of the parents in the court.
I can't with this.
This would have at least brought marriage law into conformity with statutory rape law. But the GOP-led House voted 39-28 to reject the bill.
I can't. Hit me.
No, you're done.
I probably am.
You don't hold your liquor like you used to. That's for
No, I don't. Oh,
sure.
Man, that feels good.
As it turns out, Idaho, I can't imagine why, Idaho has the highest rate of child marriage in the U.S.
Really? You don't say.
The Idaho Statesman reports from 2000 to 2010, okay? 4,080 children in Idaho were married, according to data compiled from 38 states by Unchained at Last, a national advocacy group working to end forced child marriage and forced and child marriages in America. The youngest minor wed in Idaho was, take a guess, how old? Ooh, so close, 13. And of course, here's the thing about this. Who is the 13-year-old marrying?
Probably some 50-year-old
Not another fucking
creep.
13-year-old, that's right.
Oh, my God, this is so disgusting.
Michael Stone, writing at the Pathos blog, said, quote, "Think about that. In the 21st century, a 13-year-old child was married in the state of Idaho. Not Pakistan, Idaho. Can you say American Taliban?
My best friend has a 12-year-old daughter who's almost 13.
Yeah.
I can't even. I just. No.
Yep.
And I know quite a few girls that are about 12, 13 years old. Like, they're barely. Like, they're just kind of just starting to figure out
anything. Right?
Oh my God.
Well, here's what I think is the worst part of this whole thing. According to The Hill, opponents to the bill argued that it would result in too much government and judicial oversight.
What?
This is we want small government. The government shouldn't be involved in so much.
Okay, but okay, yeah. The government shouldn't be involved in so much, then the government shouldn't be able to tell me whether or not I can take birth control or get an abortion.
Or marry another woman.
Any of it.
Any of it.
You want to control all of that, but all of a sudden now,
sure, right.
No, we have too much control. Seriously?
Some, interesting you should mention that, some also cited the state's abortion laws. Get it's going to blow your fucking mind. Which allow a girl under the age of 18 to get an abortion with the consent of one parent or a judge. Speaking on the House floor, Republican State Representative Christy Zito said, quote, "If we pass this legislation, it will then become easier in the state of Idaho to obtain an abortion at 15 years old than it will to, my emphasis, decide to form a family and create a family for a child that has been conceived." So, without saying it, this is how I interpret that. If a 15-year-old were to get pregnant, what we've done here is said, you can get an abortion, but you can't get married. And this is your conservative, Republican, Christian bullshit. Like, well, you're going to get pregnant, you better get married. Gotta have a mommy and a daddy to raise a kid at 15 fucking years old. Republican Representative Brian Zollinger said, quote, "I do not think courts should be involved in marriage at all. I don't believe there should be a license required to get married. I think two willing people should be able to go and get married," end quote. What I think that should have said was, I think two willing, consenting adults should be able to go and get married.
He's a Republican?
Yeah.
No, you read that right. That's what he said.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Holy. Okay. All right.
Republican Representative Julianne Young said, quote, "This is a decision I think should belong with families. I believe parental consent, which is what is in the law right now, should be sufficient." So
what kind of drugs do they do in Idaho?
I don't know, but
because these people are off their rocker,
yeah,
and they fear for their children,
and
their children's children. I mean, obviously, because their children are probably going to be having children if they're letting them get married at fucking 13 years old.
Right. Yep. And again, to your point, they're not marrying 13-year-olds to 13-year-olds.
No.
This is, an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old or whatever. Like,
I'm curious.
25-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Is there a high population of what's the religion that has all the wives?
Oh, is it the Mormons?
Is it the Mormons?
Well, it's the fundamental LDS.
Is there a high population of them out there?
So.
I mean, that's weird. Idaho, it's like...
what the hell is in Idaho
potatoes.
Anyway? Right.
I mean, guys, if you're that desperate to get a woman because...
Look, you could take a drill a hole in a potato and fuck a potato.
Fine.
Right.
Like, seriously, you don't need to...
Would you marry a potato, though? Could that be okay?
No, I don't think so. But you wouldn't have to marry a potato because a potato doesn't need consent for you to fuck it.
think I just found my replacement to the Alex Jones clip.
Praise Jesus.
Mark the time.
Dan, get it.
I got it. 50 on the recorder. This story I've categorized under Believe It or Not.
Oh, great.
Another Florida story, and my position on this might surprise you. This week, surveillance video on a Martin County school bus shows a bus aide yelling at a student to take off a Make America Great Again hat, then grabbing it off his head.
Oh, is there video? Please tell me there's video.
Well, there is, but I'll have to show you that later because I needed just the audio.
Oh, okay.
I had to do a little editing.
All right, fine. I don't know why that just gave me the giggles.
Now, the Martin County Sheriff's Office is investigating whether the aide committed a crime. According to the 14-year-old student, students were allowed to wear a hat to school this week if they made a donation to March of Diamonds. Diamonds.
Diamonds.
I'm trying to keep from belching into the microphone. He chose a MAGA hat in support of President Trump and, quote, to show my pride in Trump America, end quote.
Okay. Like, sure, it's trashy ideals, but it is his right.
We're getting there.
Okay, go on.
But within seconds of boarding the bus heading to his middle school, a bus aide told him to take it off and put it in his backpack, despite the fact that other students were wearing hats and were allowed to keep them on. Let's have a listen to some of that audio from WPTV.
Sporting this Trump hat for a hat day at school.
To show my pride in Trump America.
14-year-old Gunnar Johansson boarded his school bus to Hidden Oaks Middle School earlier this week.
Immediately I heard the bus aide tell me to, knock that off, take that hat off.
Take that truck. Boy, if you don't take that hat off on this bus, take it off.
I was really confused. I was like, I can't wear this? I can't wear a hat?
No, take that hat off. Take it off now. Put it in your backpack.
She threatened me with the referral. She threatened to turn the bus around. I said, write me up. I didn't do anything wrong. And then she yanked my hat off. It was crazy.
Take it off.
So shit.
Okay. Speaking as a parent who has a child on a bus.
See, I didn't want to do this because I was going to make fun of the fact that you named your kid Gunner, and there's Gunner.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean...
Anyway, so we have a child who rides a bus.
But I have a child who rides the bus, and he is a pretty crappy bus driver.
Yep.
I don't know. I kind of feel like the kid didn't do anything wrong. He's just wearing a hat. Right. Yeah, I don't agree with his hat, but, if I'm driving a bus and I'm an atheist and I believe that there's no God and I'm driving the bus and some kid gets on the bus and he's wearing a cross or a hat with Jesus toasting up some magic toast or something on it.
Saving some Bibles.
I can't tell that kid to take that off just because I don't agree with it.
Right.
Unless it's there are rules. You can't wear anything that has swear words on it. Right. You can't wear anything that has hate speech on it. But that was a campaign hat.
Right.
And as far as I know...
Well, I'm coming to that, too.
Is there... Okay.
You're like 3 paragraphs ahead of me.
Sorry. So, unless there's some kind of rule in the dress code that says you can't wear anything promoting a political candidate, it's really not, to my knowledge, breaking any dress code rules.
He continued the bus ride without wearing the hat, but his brother and other students were texting his mother about the incident. She immediately went to the school and had her son write down everything he remembered. After speaking with the principal, she decided to file a police report because the school refused to allow her to see the surveillance video until after the district's investigation closed. And she wants charges filed against the bus aide. Well, the news stations filed a public records request, I guess, and got copies of the video because you can go look it up and watch it. It appears that the school and the police are taking the situation seriously. And so, yes, I agree. Like we said with the 11-year-old student in the Pledge of Allegiance, we supported the rights of the student.
Right.
Right? And I stand by that. But another piece of that was the commentators on social media went for the mother on that story.
Yeah.
The kid with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mhm.
You know, the mom was, how dare she teach him to be so disrespectful? And she's just trying, it's a cash grab. She's just trying to get paid.
There's nothing to do with that.
Where are you fuckers now?
Right.
Is this mom just trying to cash in?
Right.
Or is it because this kid's white that you're not going to come out and say that?
Right.
And the other kid wasn't?
Yeah.
Is it because this kid is pro-Trump that you're not going to say that?
Yeah.
Talk about a fucking double standard.
Sure.
But yes, my position here, and I hope people have listened long enough to not be surprised by this, but I'm with you. I think this is another student. I think I would support their rights to.
Sure.
Again, the school district does not have a policy regarding political attire.
Right.
So even other students had on MAGA hats too.
Oh, okay.
During the day at school, not necessarily on the bus.
Right.
And he was allowed to wear it while at school.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely one of those situations where it's unfortunate that that's, you know, it makes him a target really because, but it's true. It's like it's not hate speech. It's not swear words. It's not anything that breaks anything. You know, if it said like, you know, fuck Obama or or anything derogatory.
Right.
But, you know, unfortunately, we have a president whose name is kind of synonymous with derogatory. However, just because some people feel that way doesn't necessarily mean that that's the gold star standard, whatever.
Well, and here we are again with the, an adult in charge with authority infringing upon the rights of a child.
Yeah.
And regardless of any differences, like, I would show up at the school with a big fucking sign and support your rights to wear your shitty MAGA hat.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wearing my pussy hat,
Right.
but I'd be there.
Sure.
Like,
well, because it's not about, you know, this kid might grow up someday and realize that
get over it.
No, that was when I was a kid. I wore a stupid MAGA hat, and boy, I didn't know any. Or he might grow up and be a hardcore Republican. Whatever, you just don't know. But you can't. You've got to let everybody have their rights, and there is no reason that he shouldn't have been able to wear his hat. Just like there's no reason that this kid should have been arrested for a disruption that he didn't instigate.
And you have to let everyone have their rights. Yes, and that includes children. Children do have rights in our country.
Right.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk about this more as more information comes out, and I'm sure there will be. But in the meantime, if you're an adult and you work with children in any way, don't be shitty.
Yeah. And know their rights.
Right.
And stick up for their rights.
Right. Yeah.
Because they can't.
Right.
And then when they don't know how to act exactly, they get picked apart in the media. And
David says, isn't MAGA one of the 7 words you can't say on TV?
It might be. I don't see that. Why is my Facebook?
Moving on. Does the name Mike Lindell ring any bells?
Should it?
It might. Mike Lindell is the founder and CEO of MyPillow, the late-night snake oil huckster, not unlike a TV evangelist.
Yeah, that guy.
Well, he was invited to speak at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference in Maryland. MyPillow is not only just another garbage product, which you need about as much as you need that giant gaudy fucking jewelry on the Home Shopping Network. In 2016, a consumer watchdog group noted ads that claimed the product could also cure sleep apnea, fibromyalgia, and multiple sclerosis. We gotta get this guy hooked up with Dr. Doom or Pastor Doom or whatever the fuck his name is. They could heal all the things.
You think?
Between a great good night's sleep and a nice shot of insecticide, they'd be great.
Yeah.
What a
okay.
team.
Yeah.
Anyway, which of course it does not cure those things, by the way. As a result, the district attorney of 10 California counties sued the company, which settled the litigation by admitting no wrongdoing, but agreeing to pay $995,000 in civil penalties and a pledge to give $100,000 to homeless and domestic violence shelters in California, according to Consumer Report. In 2017, class action lawyers targeted the company again, arguing on behalf of buyers who claimed that Lindell's MyPillow inflated the costs on 2 special pricing options to create the illusion of a sale.
That's how it's done.
Right? This is like, oh, 1 for $25, 2 for $50. Woo, you get a deal.
Right.
What? No. Wait.
Well, that's like this when you go into Target and it says, on sale, $19.98. And you look at the regular price and it's normally $19.99.
Right. Yeah, some sale. According to Forbes, attorneys say the company's infomercials ran up to 200 times per day on local and national TV and radio networks.
How much did they pay for those spots?
They have targeted a buy one, get one free promotion that allegedly did not produce a free pillow. Instead, it inflated the regular price of the pillow being purchased as part of the promotion, resulting in the buyer purchasing 2 pillows at or near the combined regular price for 2 pillows. Also, the plaintiff said a 50% off promotion was deceptive because the price of the pillow was inflated to twice its normal price and then offered at a 50% discount from that price. So it's normally $25. We're going to say it's normally $50 and we're going to sell it to you for $25.
Right. And it only costs us $5 to make it, so
right.
It's all profit. Wasn't that the one that was made out of like
angel pubes? I don't know.
No, there was something else going on with the MyPillow. It was supposed to be made out of some special stuff, and they've discovered that it was actually just crap.
Foam. It's just foam chunks.
Scraps of shit that. Yeah.
Well, none of that has anything to do with CPAC, of course, other than maybe the fact that when you hear him talk about unemployment, jobs, and worker pay, consider this. Lindell is worth somewhere between $200 and $300 million.
Shit.
So let's listen to Mike Lindell's 8-minute speech at CPAC, jumping on the God-ordained President Trump bandwagon. He needs a good night's sleep. He can't even catch his breath just walking out to the podium.
Look at that mustache. He can't breathe because he can't get any air through anything.
He's got quite the porn stash going on
there. He really does.
He does.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Hello, everyone. I wrote this at 3 in the morning. I believe God gave me the words.
Because he couldn't sleep.
If only he'd had a good pillow.
I'm so humbled and honored to be before you all. I'm especially nervous following 2 of the most amazing speakers I've ever met, Dr. Goka and Charlie Kirk. They are so knowledgeable, and I'm very new to this, so I'm going to do...
You new to what? Certainly not standing in front of a camera blathering on about nonsense.
Do something a little different. I'd like you all to use your imagination and come with me on a short journey back in time, like a little over 10 years ago. I was an alcoholic and a crack cocaine addict. On January 16, 2009, God freed me from these and other addictions and started me on a path to a restored heart. Praise Jesus.
Okay. I hate this. This is the old my AA argument. My problem with AA. It's that you got through all of that. Like your strength got you through your rehab and clean and kept you clean or whatever. Like that's you doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And how shitty for you not to give yourself credit for that hard work.
Right. Before you stop, Dan asked why I'm not simulcasting the video.
That's because the audio doesn't port back through.
And yeah, that would be Sarah's fault. So don't Becca me.
Got anything
Dan.
to do with me?
Because
we could play the video on the stream, but nobody would be able to hear it.
No, I
including
understand
us.
that.
That's all.
I didn't mean it's not that. No, Dan asked why I wasn't doing it, and I'm just answering the question. I'm not doing it because Sarah didn't put it in the little thingy.
It's not your job.
So it's not there for me to simulcast. It's just there.
Oh, look, he's got kind of a Jeff Foxworthy thing going on there, like a drunken, drugged out Jeff Foxworthy.
Jeff Foxworthy's older brother.
He's still got the porn stash.
Yeah, look at those big weird cheek things. Are those cheek jowls?
Jowls. Those are jowls. Yeah.
Aren't jowls down here though?
Yeah, like here.
Yeah, he's got jowls up here on his cheeks.
Oh God.
So they're bags from not being able to sleep. They're just really low.
This was before he invented the pillow and got himself a good night's sleep. You see.
Oh, this joke is just gonna keep on giving. Oh, we still got him.
I woke up from years of addiction, and I was oblivious as to what was going on in our country. What I saw before me were friends unemployed, terrible political correctness, people saying happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas.
Stop. Full stop. That's not a thing.
Hold on.
Not a thing.
I got it. Hold on. I saved it. Pause.
This is great radio.
No, it's great. It's great radio.
No, no, it's not.
Why do I wish people happy holidays? Because from November 1st to the 15th of January, there are approximately 29 holidays observed by 7 of the world's most major religions, and I don't think mine are the only ones that count.
There you go.
So suck it up your ass, war on Christmas people. I don't even know what suck it up your ass means. Shove it up your ass. That's what I meant. Yeah, that's it.
If you're going to suck things up your ass, you should probably go listen to the Gayish podcast. It sounds like something Mike and Kyle would be into.
I should really do the show and pour shots around me more often.
I agree. I think so.
And people trying to take God out of everything and not even acknowledging Jesus Christ. I saw myself thinking back in time to my childhood when seeds of patriotism were planted in our schools, like when we pledged allegiance to the flag and recited that we were one nation under God.
There we go, this bullshit patriotism stuff again. And you only recited one nation under God because it was after 1954.
Right. If you had grown up with it the original way, you would have been like, why are they changing shit?
Right. And, as I argued with some idiot online, and I've said this on the show before, I found the clip while I was looking for things earlier. If you want to foster patriotism in a country, compelling someone to stand and salute and mumble some words or sing a song is probably not nearly as effective as creating a country that they could be proud of, that we could all be proud to live in. That will foster patriotism.
The way to get anybody to do anything you want them to do is to
suck their dick and give them some money.
No, it's to not force them. I mean, okay, so my mom, she was one of these white glove people.
Uh-huh.
You clean the house every day. You clean the house. Like, we weren't allowed to go out and play until the house was clean. You know, that kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah.
And she would yell at us day in, day out, day in, day out. Clean your room, clean your room, clean your bathroom. Clean up after yourself. And the more she yelled at us, the less we wanted to do it. And something amazing happens when she's not there to yell at us. We actually do it. Like, this is basic human... I don't know what it is, but something in your brain, when somebody nags you to do something...
Right.
There is something that goes on in your brain that makes you not want to do that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I see it with my kids all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's not... Anyway, sorry.
I now saw high prices, a poor economy, high crime, police getting attacked for doing their job. The family values and morality were missing. A president was apologizing to the world for us being the USA.
Wait, which president was that? Apologizing for us being
the... What?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
He apologizing for what?
For us being the America. Just for us being America. Sorry, we're America.
I mean, America has been apologizing for our president for almost. Oh wait, no, yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the black one.
But he. Okay.
And giving billions of dollars to evil empires. A new evil was taking over called ISIS. Quite frankly, it looked like the end times prophesied in the Bible.
If you look hard enough in the Bible, you'll find something that you can be like, oh my God, that's in the Bible.
There's a lot of shit in the Bible.
Right. You can look around you and come up with all kinds of false correlations between real life and the Bible.
Also, if you read like 37 different versions of the Bible, you'll have even more material to work with.
I saw my family and friends living in fear what had happened to our country. I now bring you back in time to the summer of 2015. I see Donald Trump coming down an escalator and announcing he's running for president.
I see all humanity fall to its knees. And children cry because their lives will be ruined. That's what I see.
Listen to how he feels.
Yeah.
At Donald Trump descending the mighty golden escalator.
Oh, God. Was it gold leaf?
For me, it was a divine and miraculous moment. I felt that something miraculous was about to unfold. Then I found myself wanting to learn something I knew nothing about, which was politics. I didn't know.
You should have stuck with that. I've never been interested in this. Yeah, there's a good reason for that. You should just stay with that.
A liberal from a conservative. I started reading about it, and I couldn't believe what I read. I definitely know who I am. My biggest surprise was that I couldn't find any crossover. I tried in my mind to make common sense out of this and why anyone would want to be where we had gone as a people and a country. It didn't make any sense what people were doing. And now we go back in time to 2016, and I see myself in divine appointments, and one was especially important. Donald Trump invited me to meet him at Trump Tower in New York City. I walked into his office with high hopes on August 15, 2016. I walked out of that office after
short a handful of pillows because Donald just wanted some freebies.
meeting with him, and I knew God had chosen him for such a time as this. God answered our prayers, our millions of prayers, and gave us grace, and a miracle happened on November 8, 2016. We were given a second chance and time granted to get our country back on track with our conservative values and getting people saved in Jesus' name.
Okay, I have word.
Please.
If Donald Trump is the answer to the conservatives' prayers, I don't even need to know what they were praying for to know that they're a bunch of assholes. I don't even need to know what they're praying for to know that they are pieces of garbage. Because if he's the answer to their prayers, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, and again, this holy man who is so chosen by God, and again, like, this is when you can literally use your religion to twist around, and God's never wrong. God never gets the blame, right? So you can argue like, so God picked the guy who's been married how many times and cheated on his wife with a porn star and said grab him by the pussy and.
Well, God also picks all the priests that are pedophiles and
you're
child rapists, so,
This is true, but that's not what their response would be. Their response would be, well, sometimes God uses sinners to, bad people.
God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sometimes God has to use. Yeah.
Still. My point stands.
As I stand before you today, I see the greatest president in history. Of course he is. He was chosen by God.
Demonstrate that. How do you know?
And greatest, really?
There's
Really?
No
what has he done?
Evidence for that.
Give me the evidence. I don't see any of it.
I see record low unemployment. I see from African Americans to Hispanics at an all-time low. I see 5 million new jobs created since Donald Trump took office.
And the national deficit is at the highest it's ever been ever.
I see wages going up. Entrepreneurs.
Wages are only going up because the other side is fighting for 15 right now.
Right. And wages where? Because...
Right. What the wages he's talking about is fucking CEO wages. His wages are going up.
And tax breaks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they're looking at
taking risk again with consumer confidence at an all-time high.
Nope.
I see
Consumer
GDP
confidence
growth approaching 4%. I see ISIS demolished and trade deals getting made and getting done. I see promises made and promises kept.
Where's the wall? Wasn't that the biggest promise of all?
I'd like to know what he's done for the LGBT community. Wasn't that another promise?
He did say he well.
So far, he has said trans people can't be in the military. What else?
He told the Trump administration told the adoption agency that they could discriminate against gay people.
So I see broken promises.
Yeah.
I see a man who sees what he wants to see.
We're never
or
going to get through
is
this
being
clip.
paid to see.
I feel hope. We finally have a common sense, pragmatic, conservative president who keeps his word.
What?
I now realize how important politics are and how they affect everything we do. But what I don't understand is the hate. Now I turn the channel and I see a world of no common sense and hate for our president.
How about the hate for all of the minority groups that come from the conservative?
The hate for anybody who's not a white male Christian.
Right.
Hard stop.
I'm just saying, yes, there is hate for the president, but there's hate coming from every direction right now.
Why would people want to have no borders and drugs coming into our country when we have the worst drug epidemic in our history?
Nobody said we wanted that. Nobody said we wanted that, except the guy who's trying to sell you a fucking wall. He's the one that said that. Kind of like the guy who's trying to sell you fucking pillows.
Right.
That'll tell you it'll cure all kinds of crazy shit that it doesn't actually do.
I have news for them. This is very dear to me, being an ex-addict, and I was there when the president signed the 800-page opiate bill. And I know all the great things that are getting done in spite of this no common sense resistance and hate.
Now look, if we can do something about the opioid crisis, I'm all for that. That's a bipartisan effort I think we can all get behind.
Absolutely.
We will beat the drug crisis in our president's next 6 years in office.
Yeah. Don't know about that. Don't know about that. First of all, it's going to take a lot more time than that to
And if the
beat
president's
the
going to be in office for 6 more years, I'm going to need some more drugs. I'm just kidding. I do not do drugs.
Until they legalize them.
Yeah. I may have to move somewhere where they're legal, though.
Right. We only do drugs in Colorado.
I see a party saving minnows in California and killing babies in New York. Are you kidding me? You know, where is that common sense? One of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not kill. Well, this is going to change. Last summer, I was called by some movie producers who asked me to have a part in a movie called Unplanned. It's a true story about Abby Johnson, who was director at Planned Parenthood. And she quit after seeing what really goes on there and seeing how children are getting murdered. After hearing this and knowing what a great message this movie would bring, I not only said I would be in it, but I would also help finance it.
Okay, is this a advertisement for the movie?
Yeah, because he helped finance it, so he wants to make sure it makes money.
Yeah.
It was filmed at a secret location last year, and with God's perfect timing in history, it's coming to theaters everywhere March 29th. And here's a trailer for you guys to see.
Oh, this will be good.
Are you ready?
Are you kidding? I've been waiting for this my whole life.
For me to get behind anything, I have to be 100% all in. I either go, there's nothing in between. And just like with MyPillow, when I went all in with MyPillow, and then I find out what this movie was about, and
What's
what
he
the
doing
message behind it, and everything, and it was, I said, I'm in.
Have you not watched this yet?
I just don't understand what the bulldozer has to do with
You guys,
the story.
This movie that I went in,
Okay.
It's been under attack, and it just received an R rating. Hello. Where's the common sense where a 15-year-old can go out and get an abortion without permission from her parents, but you have to have permission or be with your parents to see this movie? What's wrong with that?
Wow.
Yep.
We're gonna be showing this movie tonight in its entirety at 7 o'clock. You guys should all watch it. It's gonna change lives. And my prayer is that this movie will stop the killings. Praise Jesus, we have a president who stands for the unborn babies, and now even ones that they kill after they're born. I want to say God bless you all. God bless our president, and God bless the United States of America.
And buy my pillows.
God, I feel stupid now.
Yep.
Jesus.
Could you imagine being at this conference?
No, that was more than enough for me. Thank
Right?
you very much.
Right. As people go and spend...
Listen, it's all about brainwashing and
No, you're right.
selling your doctrine. And yeah, seriously. Ugh.
All right. In weird news tonight, Peter...
Wait, David says, yep, pretty sure he's still on drugs.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I agree, David.
Yep.
Okay, weird news.
Peter Zhu.
Peter Zhu. Whoa, a Jew. Bless you. Gesundheit. Sorry. Science.
We're going to start this over. 3, 2, 1. In weird news tonight, Peter Zhu, a U.S. military academy cadet and California resident, was involved in a skiing accident at West Point that fractured his spine and cut off oxygen to his brain.
Ouch.
4 days later, he was declared brain dead. Now the weird part. Zhu's parents, desperate to fulfill Peter's oft-stated desire to one day raise 5 children, petitioned a state court judge for immediate emergency permission to retrieve his sperm before his organs were removed for donation.
Hold on. So he wanted to raise 5 children.
Uh-huh.
He didn't have those 5 children. Now
Right.
he's a vegetable, brain dead, whatever.
Yeah.
Sort of thing in some kind of whatever. And an organ donor, obviously, if they're going to harvest his organs or somebody made that decision. Okay. So now his parents want to jack him off.
No, that's
get
not
his
how that
sperm.
works. No.
Okay. So his parents want to retrieve his sperm to create 5 children.
I'm coming to that.
And who's going to raise them if he's dead?
The parents' filing in state court reads in part, quote, "We are desperate to have a small piece of Peter that might live on and continue to spread the joy and happiness that Peter brought to all of our lives."
Shit.
Whew. They argued that Peter is the only male child of the Zhu family.
Hot damn.
And that if they weren't permitted to obtain the genetic material, quote, "it will be impossible to carry on our family's lineage and our family name will die." The judge later that day directed the medical center to retrieve the sperm and ordered it stored.
No,
we have children asleep.
No, they did. No.
And ordered it stored pending a hearing on March 21st regarding next steps. Now, this is...
Oh, they took it, but they might not let them have it.
I
is
don't
what
know. This is not the first time this
Where
kind
is
of thing
this
has
happening?
happened. California. This is not the first time this sort of thing has happened. There are In the research that I did to write this, there were several in the past similar story.
My mind.
So that's my question. Like, would you do this as a parent?
No. I mean, yes, I'd be devastated. My child is lost in the.
Right, but I wouldn't be like, oh my god, my son. Oh my god, we gotta go get the sperm. Like what?
This sounds like. This cannot be real. Are you sure this isn't like? Did you fact check this?
This is real news. But more than that, is there someone for whom this sperm is destined?
Right?
Is there, or do we have to like hire a surrogate? Like, how does this work? Did he have a girlfriend or like?
Yeah, imagine he's got a wife and the parents are like.
I just don't know how any of this works. But also, why?
And oh my, I just, you know what is funny? So when we got together, Sarah didn't want kids. I didn't want kids. Sarah was the last remaining person that could pass down her family name.
Scratch right there. Oh yeah.
Right.
There you go.
So, and I thought about that, like when I got pregnant with our son, I went, oh, he can take the name now, and because I think your parents had pretty much.
I don't know what my parents. Well, yeah, that's true.
Come to the resolve to the point that there were going to be no more with the family name. Like they had grandkids, but right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think about that, like sometimes, like that would have it the way it worked out is cool, but if it hadn't, like as a parent, how do you feel?
Right.
Like the name isn't going to go anywhere, like farther.
10 years ago, I think I would have felt differently. I think I would have been like that, oh no, this is the end of the XYZ family. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now, I think I feel so differently. I think it's just so,
and that's a generational thing, too.
It's not an identity that I connect too deeply with. It's not something that I'm like, oh my God, this is an important thing.
But I'm thinking like, that's you
for my parents.
For your parents,
sure.
It's a different story.
Yeah.
And then maybe for our children,
it'll be even different.
Will be even like, and I just think that's like a back to an evolutionary thing with society and the way society changes.
Right.
This is just creepy. Right. Like I understand that. Like, oh, it's kind of sad that that's the end, and now there's no.
Right.
But I think that's taking it a little too far. Especially if there's no. If there's no mother anywhere to be.
Right. We have to hire a mom.
We gotta buy an egg now.
So like legitimately.
Seriously, yeah, and a surrogate and a.
Right.
But if you're, I mean, I don't know, how old are his parents? Are they?
I didn't say.
Like that's the other thing, like.
But
I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah, but to your point, like the difference in the generations, like I can see us. Probably sooner than you might expect. I could see us getting to the place where we abolish this woman takes the man's name stuff.
Oh, sure.
I can see us getting rid of that in pretty short order.
We have two friends that are getting married coming up, and they decided to just create their own last name.
Mm-hmm.
They're going with completely I think it might be a family name somewhere further up, but it wasn't either of their last names.
Right.
So,
right.
And I think that's kind of cool. And you give the people
definitely.
that take both of their names and hyphenate it or
right.
reconstruct it or whatever. I mean, I think.
But I'm like, fuck the patriarchy anyway. So
well, sure.
That's part of it.
I think, like, why do we even, like, we have all these names and it's all government. Like, that's all it is. Like, it's just a way for you to.
Well, and it tracks
be a number on a list.
Lineage and that sort of thing.
Well, yeah.
You know, like.
And that makes
there are some cultures who, what is it, isn't it North Korea that it's like Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's the first, like the surname is different the way we.
Yeah.
But still, like there's the family name that's carried on, and I just think that's silly.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't think it's worth sending somebody down to the morgue to like
extract sperm from a almost dead person.
Yeah.
That's just weird.
I know. I know.
I mean,
if he'd been from Florida, I would have put him in the Florida Man.
Sure.
Speaking of Florida Man, let's do a Florida Man.
All right.
Brought to you by our top patrons, part-time patron Russell, Mandy Imus, our most favorite patron ever. Seriously, there's no better patron.
Wait, what?
That's John.
Oh, Jesus. John! Okay, I love you, John.
Room.
Yeah, but go to your room.
And Sir comments a lot.
That's got to be Dan.
Yeah.
Love you too, Dan.
All right, let's do Florida Man. To the Gator Mobile. Let's go.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Here's a food service industry story. I don't know if part-time patron and SarahTalk chef Russell is still in the chat. He was falling asleep.
But
but anyway, a story for Russell. In January, Howard Webb, 31, of Tennessee, was with a driver for a fast food delivery service, Dinner Delivered, when he allegedly put his testicles in an order of salsa that a customer had ordered from a Mexican restaurant. In a video posted by WBIR-TV, Webb is seen seemingly putting his testicles in a cup of salsa. The delivery driver is heard giggling and saying, "This is what you get when you give an 89-cent tip for an almost 30-minute drive."
Oh, shit.
Yeah. "Oh, it feels good on my testicles," Webb replies.
Oh, my God.
The delivery service wrote that it reported the driver to law enforcement, and Webb, according to WBIR, was arrested and charged with adulteration of food, liquids, or pharmaceuticals. What a weird fucking charge.
Oh, my gosh. That's the spice.
Another outside competitor, 46-year-old Indiana man, accidentally shot himself in a genital. Interesting word choice by the reporter. In a genital. After a gun slipped from his waistband, according to police. Marion PD released a statement saying that Mark Anthony Jones did not have a license for the Hi-Point 9mm gun. In the emergency room of Marion General Hospital, he told police he was walking on a riverside trail near the Marion Girl Scout cabin around 6:44 a.m. Thursday, which raises more questions than it answers.
Mm-hmm.
When the gun, which was not in a holster, began to slip from his waistband, and when he reached to adjust the gun, it discharged. According to the release, quote, "The bullet entered I should probably give a graphic warning. The bullet entered just above his penis and exited his scrotum. Darwin Award at the very least." And the final story, a Florida man spent what was supposed to be his wedding night in jail after breaking the nose of a man who refused to move out of the way on the beachfront wedding pictures. Ocean Ridge police arrested 27-year-old Jeffrey Alvord following a fight with 24-year-old man who refused offers of $50 to move out of the way of the wedding pictures.
Oh, crap. They're going to pay you to get out of the way. Just go.
Right? You're down on the beach, right? You're having your wedding photos done. And there's some fucking asshole that won't get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Hey, listen, man. Let me give you $50 and you just get the fuck out of my picture.
Where was this?
Ocean Ridge. I don't know where that is.
All right. Because I've been at beach weddings in South Florida, and this happens all the time.
Alvord told police the man became very belligerent, making him feel threatened, so he punched the man. The victim told police a groomsman held him while Alvord hit him.
Well then.
Your choices tonight. Oh, it feels so good on my testicles.
No, I like David's better. He said hot balls.
Hot balls, there you go.
I got a good one for this one, but what do you got?
Shot through the cock, and you're to blame. You give guns a bad name.
Okay, that's better. I was gonna say hole in one.
And just a good old-fashioned redneck family wedding. What do you think? It sounds like the wedding thing is a little too common for me to get behind it.
Too common for me. I mean, just because I've seen it before. Like, I've been in person. Not necessarily...
You're like, I've held that fucker down while my girl beat him.
No, well, my story was I was at a beach wedding, and we were there during the ceremony. Like, there was this lurking, like, guy, like, behind the... like.
Oh, that's creepy.
We're sitting there, and he's just, like, lurking, like, walking back and forth, like... It's common. I don't know. I gotta say,
I think the guy that shot himself.
I think the guy that shot himself in the testicle.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
What's the chat have to say?
Okay. Anna says balls.
Victoria and I were in the same zone. We're
yeah.
Communicating telepathically.
Hot balls. Shot through the cock. It's about half and half in the half and half in the chat.
All right. Well, hey, that's gonna do it for the show this week. We have anything going on? We have anything coming up? I don't think we do. I don't have anything scheduled.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't have anything scheduled.
That doesn't mean anything ever.
Because
with us,
no, but because like I've diverted so much of my time and energy into the organization, which we got our incorporation filing back. So that's an official. We are a incorporated organization.
I mean, I guess.
So I've just been spending a lot of my focus on that, I guess.
Yeah, we've been putting a lot of energy that way.
Yeah.
What else? Well, next week is our son's birthday party on Saturday.
Yeah.
So it might be a short show because we might be completely bonkers tired.
I will definitely have used up all of my spoons.
Yeah.
How many people are going to be?
It's a lot. It's a lot. He's got a lot more friends this year than he had last year.
I'm just going to start now.
I already did.
I mean, I've been drinking too. Not doing shots. All right, so let's plan for that then. I'll plan for a short show next week.
Maybe we should just do Florida Man next week.
Just a Florida Man?
Just a Florida Man.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, hey, thank you all for listening. Thanks to the patrons for patroning. Thanks to Baby Jesus for saving all those Bibles. And thanks to MyPillow, which is not a MyPillow, but gets me through the night. We'll see you next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Facebook Live. You've been listening to SarahTalk.
SarahTalk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@sarahtalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. The opinions and information provided on this show are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of the hosts and their guests. We make no representations as to accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors or damages. SarahTalk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.